We've all seen the hard hats and the bright yellow jackets, but what if I told you that some of the biggest dangers at work are actually invisible? Today, we're going to look past the obvious stuff. We're going to explore what a truly safe and healthy workplace really looks like. From the air we breathe to the support we get when we're not feeling our best, let's dive in.
So let me ask you this. When you hear workplace safety, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably a construction site, right? All about protecting people from obvious physical dangers. And that's super important, for sure. But what about the risks you can't see, the ones we feel? All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with those hidden hazards, then look at the global playbook for safety. We'll get practical and see how to manage risks. And then, this is huge, we're going to talk about what happens when things go wrong, how a great workplace helps its people get back on their feet. It's really a full circle view of well-being. Okay, first up, let's talk about the things we can't see. Because honestly, in a lot of jobs today, the most common dangers aren't falling objects. Sometimes they're in the very air around us, or in the amount of pressure we're under every single day. The International Labor Organization calls these ambient factors, and this is a really broad idea. We're not just talking about a big chemical spill. It's the constant drone of machinery, the subtle vibration from a tool in your hand, or even an office that's just always freezing. And get this, it also includes things like work-related stress, which is now seen as a major factor that has to be managed to keep people truly safe and healthy.
So, if these invisible risks are such a big deal, who's actually setting the standards? Well, that brings us to the International Labor Organization, or the ILO. Think of them as creating the global blueprint for keeping people safe at work, no matter what you do or where you are in the world.
And this is what's so incredible about the ILO. They're not just some committee writing rules. Their entire mission, going all the way back to 1919, is about social justice. The idea is that good, safe working conditions are a cornerstone of a peaceful world. So this whole thing isn't just a technical checklist, it's about human dignity. It makes safety a fundamental human right.
Now, at the very heart of this whole approach is one word: partnership. It's not all on the boss, and it's not all on the employee. It's a shared responsibility. Employers have to set up a safe system, but workers have to be an active part of it. When you think about a hazard like stress, this means managers and their teams have to talk, to work together, to figure out where the pressure points are and find solutions that actually work. It's absolutely a two-way street. Okay, so we've got the big ideas down, but how does this stuff actually work in the real world? Let's take these principles and see how they're used to control actual hazards on the job.
This right here is the golden rule of workplace safety. It's called the hierarchy of control, and it's a really simple but powerful concept. You always start with the most effective solution, not the easiest one. The number one best thing you can do is just get rid of the danger completely. Things like hard hats and safety glasses. They're your last resort, not your first move.
Check out this perfect example from the health and safety executive. So the problem is, you've got a worker carrying heavy boxes all day, risking a serious back injury. So what do? Just give them a back brace? Nope. According to the hierarchy, the best solution is to eliminate that hazardous task. Bring in a trolley, a cart, anything to do the heavy lifting. Just like that, the risk is gone. It's the most effective way to keep someone safe.
But what about those invisible ambient factors we talked about? Well, this table gives you a peek into how employers assess something like noise. They literally measure the decibels coming off different tools to figure out how much a worker is exposed to in a day. Getting this data is the first crucial step. From there, they can figure out how to control it, maybe with quieter tools or sound barriers, or, as a last resort, hearing protection.
Okay, so far we've been all about prevention, but a complete system for well-being has to answer another really important question. What happens when someone on the team gets sick for any reason? This is where the whole system pivots from being proactive to being supportive. According to NICE, the UK's Health Guidance Institute, a long-term sickness absence is when someone's away from work for 4 weeks or more. This is a critical point because the longer someone is away, the higher the risk they start to feel disconnected from their job and their team. That's why having a supportive process is just non-negotiable.
And a really key tool here is something called the fit note. This was a total game changer. See, old school sick notes just said, unfit for work. That's it. But the fit note flips the script. It focuses on what a person can do. Maybe they can't do their full job, but could they work different hours or focus on less strenuous tasks? It starts a positive conversation about what's possible instead of just focusing on limitations.
And that positive conversation is basically the foundation for building a bridge back to the workplace. It's a process that really needs empathy, great communication, and a lot of flexibility from everybody involved.
Now, this part is so important. The support has to start way before the employee is even thinking about coming back. Just keeping in touch can make a world of difference. And we're not talking about pressuring them to come back. It's about connection. It's about making sure they know they're still a valued part of the team. That simple human contact can be incredibly powerful.
Then, when the employee feels ready, the conversation shifts to practical adjustments. And there are so many possibilities. It could be as simple as a phased return, starting with fewer hours and building back up, or maybe it means changing their duties for a little while to avoid anything that could set back their recovery. The goal is always to find a path back that's both safe and sustainable.
And to make sure everyone's on the same page, all of this should be put into a simple written plan. This isn't about red tape, it's about clarity. It helps the employee know exactly what to expect, the manager knows how to best offer support, and it gives everyone a shared way to track how things are going.
So let's pull these two big ideas together. On one hand, you have all the proactive stuff to stop harm from happening in the first place. And on the other, you have the supportive systems to help people when they need it most. Together, that's what makes a real system for well-being.
This slide just sums it up perfectly. Think of it like two pillars holding everything up. You've got proactive prevention, looking at all the hazards, using the smartest controls, and making safety a team effort. And then you have supportive recovery, keeping in touch, being flexible with adjustments, and having a clear plan. A truly fantastic workplace is brilliant at both.
And that really brings us to the final question to think about. Look at your own workplace. Is the main focus just on preventing the next slip or fall? Or is it building something bigger? A whole system that's designed to protect and support the total health, physical and mental, of every single person there? It's a pretty important question to ask. Thanks so much for joining me.